Hey guys, what's happening? This is the Club the Man 1993 coming at you for part one of my review of the WWE Superstar Shakeup 2017 after Raw. I was going to wait till after Smackdown Live tomorrow to do my full review, but I decided instead to just split it into two parts. I decided to just come here and talk about what happened on Raw tonight, and tomorrow I'll talk after Smackdown and just review the whole thing afterwards. But I just want to talk about Raw because let me tell you what, from what happened, from some of the people that got moved over to Raw, I'm a little scared for SmackDown. And I'm sure a lot of you are scared because Raw got a lot more upper card talents than I thought they would get. I did not think they would they would get all these people like Dean Ambrose, Miz, Bray Wyatt. They got a lot more like depth of talent from SmackDown Live than I thought I would get. And I see you have one viewer. By the way, if anybody at all wants to chat, the live chat, I just gotta let you know, I for some reason have not yet figured out how to use live chat on live streaming. I'm still learning that. So if for some reason you do not see me answering your chats, it's only because I just don't know how to use it yet. I mean, if you want to give me a hand, somebody just let me know in the comments section down below. But other than that, this is just what's going to be. So for this video, again, I'm going to review what happened on Raw tonight with the Superstar Shakeup, and I'm going to share with you who got moved over to Raw from SmackDown Live in the beginning at first. So let's go with it here. I'm waiting for the WWE app to load on my phone. And let me see, is this all of them? Yes, okay. So overall, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 changes. We got 9 new superstars on the Raw roster tonight, and actually it's not really 9 altogether. It is including one tag team, which I expected Raw to only get one new tag team to spread out the depth. And I'll give you who I still think is going to move over to SmackDown Live. But so far we got The Miz and Maurice went over to Raw. The Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose, came over to Raw. I was a little surprised by that because I didn't think they were going to switch up champions really, but if this moves Kevin Owens over to SmackDown Live, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, then okay. But again, I felt if Dean didn't have the Intercontinental title, I'd be fully okay with him being on Raw. But I want to see what happens down the line before I say, what happened. I freak out about this because I don't want Raw getting all these champions and SmackDown is nothing worth watching, but I'm sure WWE has something up their sleeve, but I'll explain what I think this series is going to happen afterwards. Bray Wyatt, one I actually wasn't too happy about. I wanted Bray Wyatt to stay on SmackDown Live. He was recently lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania, lost his title. I'm afraid if he gets back on SmackDown Live, they would just start booking him like even more bull crap again. So I am a little worried about that. Although he looked like he did tease a feud with Finn Balor tonight after he faces Randy Orton in the House of Horrors match at Payback. Yeah, that's right. Randy Orton, who's still on SmackDown Live, from what I believe, is going to defend his title against Bray Wyatt at Payback. But again, I'll explain that at the end of this video. For the women's division, we got Alexa Bliss, which I felt was the right choice to move over to Raw, and Mickie James. I felt they needed to bring like a veteran over, either Mickie James or Natalya, but I'm fine with either one. Let's give another veteran over there to help put over some of the younger talent. Bayley, Sasha Banks, hey, Alexa Bliss. I know they had a match on SmackDown Live, wasn't really their best, but I'm willing to give it another shot. Nia Jackson's Mickie James. Emma against Mickie James if she stays. Dana Brooke, she stays. Charlotte, well, we'll get to that one also. Apollo Crews has gone over to Raw. He wasn't on the show, but it was announced that he is going over to Raw. A little worried about this. He really didn't get that much attention at all on SmackDown Live, but I'm worried that it's going to be even worse for him on Raw. Kalisto on Raw. This was a prediction I made in my predictions videos, and I felt Kalisto should go to Raw and join the Cruiserweight division, which that's what he did, so I think that's going to work out great. The only tag team, as I might have said before, that moved over to Raw was Heath Slater and Rhino, which again I was expecting one of like the lower card tag teams. I mean, Heath Slater and Rhino are not really a low card tag team ever since they lost their SmackDown Live tag titles. They've really been kind of directionless, so they put them over on Raw. But I think there's going to be two tag teams to be going over to SmackDown Live tomorrow night. And Kurt Hawkins, don't care, got knocked out by Big Show, really don't care. But some of the people who were jobbers on Raw who really had nothing to do, there's a couple of them I'm hoping do go over to SmackDown Live, maybe finally get something going for them. But yeah, those, again, the 9 transactions we got The Miz and Maurice going over to Raw, Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, Apollo Crews, Kalisto, Heath Slater and Rhino, and Kurt Hawkins. Now, let's look at the rest of the Raw roster. And if you want to make your voice heard, besides, of course, on here, in the comments section or in the live chat, again, I apologize. I have not figured out, again, how to view messages on live streaming yet. But let's go through the Raw roster. I'll give you my thoughts. But again, also on Twitter, I have my I made a lot of polls, probably annoyed a lot of people on Twitter. So if you haven't yet, follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93 to check out the polls for the remaining superstars who could be moving over to SmackDown Live. There's a few we know who are not going to be moving over to SmackDown Live, of course, besides the cruiserweights. And most likely probably the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, and Bayley, the Raw Women's Champion, and a few others I don't think are going to move over to SmackDown Live. So I didn't include some of the people I didn't include in the choice. Even some of the ones I didn't even care about, I still included in my polls. But again, if you want to make your voice heard, of course, check out those polls on my Twitter, DemandAirboy93, and say who you think is going to go to SmackDown Live is going to stay on Raw. So again, not including the cruiserweights, Alicia Fox. Is she going to go to SmackDown Live or stay on Raw? I think she's going to stay on Raw. Don't really care too much. Paul Crews, Austin Aries, Bayley is said staying on Raw. Of course, she's Raw Women's Champion. Big Cass, Enzo Amore and Big Cass. The only 2 tag teams I can see going over to SmackDown Live. The 2 teams I think are going to go over, Big Cass. Enzo and Big Cass. They weren't on the show tonight. I think they're going to go over to SmackDown Live, and the New Day. Put them both on SmackDown Live. That creates depth. Starts fixing the problem over on SmackDown Live. We'll have them, American Alpha, the Usos, Hype Brothers come back. I think they're a team that's like about ready to be up there, but not quite yet. Any of those other jobber tag teams, like the Ascension, Breezango, maybe somehow get them going, or to split up Breezango, as I would love to see happen, but not going to happen most likely. Will Big Show go to Raw or SmackDown? I'm saying just keep him on Raw. Again, some of these like veterans, like Big Show, Mark Henry, some of these guys who are like are not going to be overused because they're toward the end of their careers. I think keep them on Raw because if they go to SmackDown Live, I'm afraid they're going to get in the way with the younger talent. And SmackDown Live has created a bunch of new stars, so I'd say keep Big Show on Raw. Bo Dallas. He's one person who, of course, has barely been used on Raw. I like to see him go to SmackDown, even though if Bray Wyatt would have stayed on SmackDown, but he didn't, he's over at Raw. It would have been interesting, as a lot of people would like to see Bo Dallas team up with his real life brother Bray Wyatt and see what they could have done with that faction. But either way, I think if you put him on SmackDown Live, maybe finally start giving him something of a push to build a star, because there's a couple guys like Baron Corbin or a few people who actually got a little bit of a push. Baron Corbin, of course, getting a big push. Maybe they will, get up in their level as well and actually become superstars over on SmackDown Live and be given a chance. We got Braun Strowman. Here's the thing. I don't think I scratched that whole thing I said in my predictions about Roman Reigns and AJ Styles feud if they would go to SmackDown Live, because of course, it doesn't look like now they're going to be turning Roman Reigns heel at all. And, of course, I wouldn't want to see Styles get fed to Roman Reigns, which I'm glad Styles is staying on SmackDown Live. I felt that's where he deserved to stay. But I think I'm seeing they're probably going to keep Braun Strowman on Raw, probably. If you move him to SmackDown Live and move Roman over there as well, I'd be surprised. but I think they're going to stay on Raw. Both of them, him and Roman, are going to stay on Raw. Probably, I'm predicting for Payback, them having an ambulance match after the beatdown happened, which I thought was cool. But the thing that bothers me is they're still going to have Roman come back eventually and beat Braun anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to say Roman Reigns is still a babyface. He is not turning heel, doesn't look like, even though he had that has all this more heat up against him. Who knows? You see here, Brock Lesnar. Now, let's talk about this match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton really quick at Payback. I was surprised. It is going to happen at Payback. Not going to wait till SmackDown's pay-per-view next month, Backlash. But you notice there's a big gap in between pay-per-views. I think what's going to happen is, I mean, even though Payback is actually a Raw-branded pay-per-view, I feel like they might actually treat it, though, like it's a dual-brand pay-per-view, because Orton didn't appear on Raw tonight. He should be still on SmackDown as far as I know. And, you know, what if they moved Kevin Owens onto SmackDown now that Dean Ambrose, the Intercontinental Champion, is going to be on Raw, and have maybe Baron Corbin, who's still on SmackDown, fight Dean Ambrose at Payback, or, you know, keep Owens and Jericho on Raw, but have like Corbin win the title off of Ambrose or something like that. Because either way, one of those mid-card titles needs to go to SmackDown. Unless if, you know, Jericho goes to SmackDown, or, you know, Owens goes to SmackDown, and somehow like one of the champions retain. You know, I would rather see it be Dean Ambrose. Baron Corbin dropped the title to Dean Ambrose. And I would probably, most likely, Kevin Owens would probably retain over Chris Jericho. But I'm just saying, and of course, I'm sad to say this, but it's probably going to be Randy Orton retaining over Bray Wyatt, unless if Brock Lesnar goes to SmackDown. I think there is a possibility that Brock Lesnar goes to SmackDown. Because if Brock Lesnar does not go to SmackDown, it's going to be obvious Randy Orton's going to win the House of Horror match. And obviously, I really don't care too much about that feud anymore. I mean, I love the storyline, but I just don't like Orton and Wyatt's matches. So I think if Brock Lesnar, for some reason, would go to SmackDown Live tomorrow night, I think we could be in for a big surprise at House of Horror matches. Bray Wyatt winning that title, and him and Finn Balor are going to feud afterwards, have them feud for WWE Championship, and put the Universal Championship on SmackDown Live. Possibly. I'm not getting my hopes up. It could happen. But, you know, let's say it this way. We can make the Universal Champion look great again. Had to do my Donald Trump impersonation. Dan, Robbie, Gene, if you're watching. SmackDown Live, if Brock goes to SmackDown Live, we can make that Universal Championship look great, redesign it, whatever. I don't know. I just had to make the Donald Trump reference since my four horsewomen. I am so sorry. The four horsemen. I don't want to use horsewomen. My four horsemen. Of course, me, Daniel Gaiza, Rywan Kenobi, and Gene from BSP Wrestling. Always have to do our Donald Trump impersonations. But anyways, getting off track here. But yes, if Brock Lesnar goes to SmackDown Live, then I'm predicting Bray Wyatt to win the championship, the WWE Championship, back from Randy Orton, and put the WWE Championship on Raw and put the Universal title on SmackDown Live. But I'm not getting my hopes up because it may not happen. Of course, commentators, I doubt they're going to really make a change in commentary. Cesaro and Sheamus, either they're a tag team, and I made a prediction about tag teams. I still think they're both going to end up staying on Raw. If any of them, I wish Cesaro would go to SmackDown Live, but since him and Sheamus are still a tag team, I see him staying on Raw for now. Charlotte's got to go to SmackDown Live. Tonight, with that ending, that second segment with pretty much introducing the new Raw women, where it was Bayley, Sasha, which is, I thought the first that Sasha was going to turn heel, but it looks like they put like a halt on it for a second. Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Nia Jax. 5 women right there. And probably either Emma or Dana Brooke. One of those two staying. As of now, we're going to have, I'm saying Charlotte is definitely going over to SmackDown. Give her a lot of fresh opponents. Continue making her the top women's wrestler on the main roster. And I think going with her is either going to be Dana Brooke or Dana Brooke or Emma. But I think it's probably going to be Dana Brooke. Move both of them over there. Maybe just give them all, the two of them, fresh opponents. I mean, Emma just got back, so I say just keep her on Raw for now. Don't move her over to SmackDown again. That's just my opinion on what's gonna happen. What should happen there? But those two women switching around, I'm fine. Again, I'm fine with Alexa Bliss going. Mickey James is a good pick as well for some more of a veteran. But yes, that's my opinion on Charlotte. I already talked about Chris Jericho a little bit. It's tough to say because, again, I think since it looks like they're going to treat Raw a little more, probably more because of the gaps in between the pay-per-views, since Backlash is not until late next month, which is May 21st, and we have Extreme Rules being the next Raw pay-per-view. I think it looks like they're going to treat it. I'm wondering if maybe either Owens or Jericho will go to SmackDown Live, or if they just have just Baron Corbin challenge Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental title at Payback, and that's when Corbin wins the title and keeps the Intercontinental title on SmackDown Live. I'm not sure. Again, it's very confusing, but that we'll see what happens there. But I'd say I don't think though Jericho would go to SmackDown Live. I mean, he could, but I'm surprised he's still sticking around for Paybacks. I really thought he'd be taking his break now to go tour with Fozzy, but we don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. Curtis Axel, like Bo Dallas, he's another guy who's barely been used on the Raw roster. I would love to see Curtis Axel go to SmackDown. I've been a believer in Curtis Axel. I think he's a great talent with the Intercontinental title, and when he had that back in 2013, and I did nothing with him after he dropped it. Let's just finally give him that push he deserves. Put him on SmackDown Live. He's a face now. Turn him heel, whatever. I don't care. Either way, just get this guy going. He's well deserving of a push. We're talking about Dana Brooke. Darren Young, well, he's injured right now, but he's probably going to stay on Raw. We talking about Emma. We talking about them. Finn Balor. I wouldn't rule him out going to SmackDown Live, but I think after, of course, Bray Wyatt, teasing that feud with him and Finn, I'm saying Finn Balor stays on Raw probably. Again, if Bray wins the title back from Randy at Payback, maybe Bray and Finn can feud for the title. We'll see what happens. Let me see here. Who else? Jinder Mahal just keep on Raw. I don't care. Let me see here. Kevin Owens already talked about. I could see him possibly going to SmackDown Live, but we'll see because I'm just really confused with these mid-card titles. Mark Henry, same as Big Show. Keep him on Raw. I mean, I like Mark, but he's towards the end of his career, and I don't think he really should be going over to SmackDown Live because I feel unless he wants to put over some younger talent, that's fine. But I'd say for now, just keep him on Raw. I already talked about Maurice, Nia Jackson, Paige doesn't count. Archer, don't care. I already talked about Roman Reigns. Rusev, I think it's a possibility. Rusev can possibly go over to SmackDown Live. I mean, I know he's been out with an injury, but I think with the additions of, especially with Miz coming over, I mentioned in my predictions, I think if they put Rusev on SmackDown Live, he can easily fill like the role Miz was in, as like him and Lana being that couple pairing. And that just literally, bullies everybody around. So I can possibly see Rusev going over to SmackDown Live. Even though he's injured, we may not know tomorrow, but it's possible. Sami Zayn. Well, here's the thing. Kurt Angle has been saying how he possesses the three eyes and giving good reviews on Sami. But there has been a lot of interest from SmackDown as shared on Raw tonight. So, I mean, I think it wouldn't surprise me if Sami goes over to SmackDown Live, which I'm kind of pushing for yes. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. He beat The Miz tonight, but I think there's a high possibility of Sami going over to SmackDown tomorrow. I'm 75% sure he's going to go over there. Samoa Joe, I say keep him on Raw. He's probably going to feud with Seth Rollins, who is staying on Raw, as Kurt Angle confirmed tonight. Him and Seth are probably going to have a match at Payback. The reason why I wanted to keep Owens on Raw is because I wanted to see if that faction with him and Joe form, and maybe somebody else. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'd say just keep Joe on Raw either way, whether Owens goes over to SmackDown or not. Sasha Banks, she's probably staying on Raw. The Revival staying on Raw. Seth Rollins staying on Raw. Sheamus started talking about him and Cesaro. Sin Cara, just keep him on Raw. Put him in the Cruiserweight division, whatever. Don't put him on SmackDown. And Titus O'Neil. I don't really care too much. I'll put him on Raw, but just keep him on Raw. Don't put him on SmackDown. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I think of those guys. Let's go to the Twitter poll and see what we have here on my Twitter poll. Seeing if anybody has anything to, if I got any on my poll. See what we have so far. Let me see here. So far, I only have 5 votes for my grade for Raw tonight, which 20% are A, B, and C. 40% said D. I wonder if it's. I mean, besides the Superstar Shakeup, I thought Raw was pretty good tonight. Let me see here. Right now, for Brock Lesnar, 62% says stay on Raw. 38% says goes to SmackDown Live. Which tag team do you think will go to SmackDown Live? New Day, Enzo, Big Cass, both or neither? I have 22% saying New Day, 35% saying Enzo and Big Cass, 43% say both. No one said neither. You think Owens Fight will go to SmackDown Live or stay on Raw? I mean, Kevin Owens go to SmackDown Live or stay on Raw? 71% said going to SmackDown Live and 29% said stay on Raw. Who from the women's division is going over to SmackDown Live? I gave either Charlotte, Dana Brooke, Emma, or Alicia Fox. 50% say Charlotte, 17% say Emma, 17% also says Dana Brooke, and 16% says Alicia Fox. The Big Show, 67% says stay on Raw, 33% says go to SmackDown Live. Bo Dallas, 73% going to SmackDown, 27% saying going to stay on Raw, 70% going. Let me say it again. I got tongue twisted. Bo Dallas, 73% going to SmackDown Live, 27% says stay on Raw. Braun Strowman, 59% staying on Raw, 41% going to SmackDown Live. Jericho's 56% says going to SmackDown Live, 44% staying on Raw. Curtis Axel, 46% SmackDown Live, 54% says Raw. Finn Balor, 60% says SmackDown Live, and 40% says Raw. Most of these are getting like 20-some votes, by the way. Roman Reigns, 67% says he's going to stay on Raw. 33% says going to SmackDown Live. Rusev, 80% says going to SmackDown Live, 20% staying on Raw. No one voted on Sami Zayn, surprised, or Samoa Joe. Not Reebok. I'm still thinking he's going to stay on Raw. Cesaro or Sheamus, are they either of them going to go to SmackDown Live? 17% says Cesaro will. 7% says Sheamus will. 47% said both will go to SmackDown Live. 29% said though neither. And I'm pretty much figuring neither of them are going to go to SmackDown Live. And no one voted on Sin Cara, which doesn't surprise me. Titus O'Neil, we got 33 votes on this one. 67% said staying on Raw, and 33% says going to SmackDown Live. Darren Young, no one voted on him. No one voted on Jinder Mahal. I don't blame you guys. And yeah, let me see here if I can pull up the let me see if I can pull up, see if I can try one thing here with pulling up my Twitter page on my computer here, and let's see if I can get the live chat from there, see if anybody said anything on there. I'm going to try that, and if not, then we're definitely going to be calling this video, calling it a day. Here, let's click on this. Going to be, oh shoot, I want that to happen here. As of now, I do not see anybody saying anything in the live chat, so that is going to be it then. So again, I will hopefully one day figure out how to view the live chat while on my live stream. And thank you all for tuning in to my somewhat of a live review for Raw. Well, not really, but it's just part one of my review for the Superstar Shakeup for 2017, based off what happened after Raw. Also, Elias Sampson, actually, the Drifter, was drifting around on Raw, and I think that's teasing that he actually is going to be on Raw. But I think he's up way too soon. He should have stayed on NXT for a while. I don't really care as much he's on Raw right now, unless he makes something out of it. Right now, you don't have my money betting on him. But yeah, again, it looks a little scary for SmackDown Live right now, but there are some big names that could be moving over to SmackDown Live. Maybe Brock Lesnar, Rusev, Sami Zayn. I don't think Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman will go over to SmackDown Live. Charlotte, those probably going to go over to SmackDown Live. New Day, Enzo, Big Cass. There's still a lot of hope, I'd say, for the SmackDown Live roster. But yes, that is it. As always, please follow me on Twitter. Submit your vote also for the remaining people on the Raw roster who are possibly going to be going over to SmackDown Live tomorrow night. Again, please subscribe to my channel, like this video as well. Stay tuned for more content to come on this channel. Stay tuned tomorrow night. Actually, tomorrow night I do have another meeting, which that's why I'm dressed up. I had a meeting tonight with a client. I have another meeting tomorrow night, so I will probably miss the first half hour of SmackDown Live, but I will most likely still be able to catch up on who got moved over to SmackDown Live from Raw tomorrow night, and I will be up here afterwards doing a live review on my final thoughts of the new rosters. And yeah, and of course, anybody who's in the video games, I'm working on my next levels for All This and Wolf 3D. Hopefully, those should be done by either end of this week or sometime next week. And yeah, that is it, guys. Please stay tuned. I will also be uploading it tonight, probably in the next hour or so, my thoughts on TJ Perkins turning heel tonight on Raw. Leave my thoughts there as well. And yes, that is it, guys. I am out, and I will see you guys tomorrow again for part 2 of my review of the Superstar Shakeup after SmackDown Live. Go over again the final rosters, how I feel as of now. I am scared to death for SmackDown Live, but I think they can still pick up some good names from Raw. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We shall see. Until then, guys, I will see you all later. Have a good night.